Let's come together. Okay. Know God yourself. I'm currently resident in America. I tried to buy the book of physical delivered to me from here, but I got stuck at payment section. What do I do? I'm paying with dollar card. Now, if you are buying online, you can only download the physical copy, soft copy. So know God yourself. Is for physical, is for download, the online purchase. So if you want to buy physically, then send me a DM now. I will give you the Zelle detail. And then, like I told you guys, the books are being shipped. So the one going to America has not left Lagos yet. Canada's one is there already. So it will be in America in another 10 days or thereabouts. So just send me a DM now. Know God yourself. Send me a DM. I'll send you the Zelle detail. You make the payment. And then when the books arrive, we now send it to you. If you want to continue online, you have to be ready to do the download. So you have to download the soft copy. But physical copy, we need to send it to you and get your details. Okay. Hello, everyone. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Olumide Emmanuel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, anywhere in the world. Welcome to How to Create Wealth as a Career Person, the Entrepreneur's Guide to the World Place. This is the online global launch. We started on Tuesday. Every night we've been having amazing sessions. And on Sunday morning in church, we'll launch for our church members. And next week, Wednesday, the 3rd of January. Woo! Happy New Year. It's around the corner. Wednesday, the 3rd of January, we're going to be having the Global School of Money. The Global School of Money Summit is absolutely free. It's coming up on Wednesday, the 3rd, from 9 a.m. all the way to 1 p.m. for 4 hours. I'm going to be taking 3 sessions. I'm going to take you on a workshop session. I'm going to have a masterclass session. And I'm going to have a general question and answer and coaching session, all within that time frame. And then you have an opportunity to get a copy of my latest book, How to Create Wealth as a Career Person. This is my author's copy. I'm also reading the book. I'm just reading it page by page and savoring the wonderful, wonderful information that the book has to offer. And I'm telling you, you need to get your copy. Today is yeah, was it yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, we were at the City Mall. Yeah, we were at the Keja City Mall yesterday. And that was the last day of our exhibition there. And a man came, I think he bought like 4 or 5 copies of the books. He bought School of Money. Started with School of Money. He said, School of Money. Oh, this book, it changed my family. In fact, he called the wife. He said, I've seen the man here. I need to buy School of Money. So they bought, said they have bought so many School of Money. Then I said, my new book is, I said, I'm not a career person, no, that me, I'm an entrepreneur. I said, well, that's the information there will also help you. So he picked a copy just to buy because he bought School of Money. And then he said I should autograph. And then when we removed the nylon and I wanted to autograph, he said, I'm seeing something inside the book. So he said, let me see. So he said, wow. He looked at the table of content. He said, wow. He said, this is rich. I said, can you explain this to me? Explain it. By the time I finished explaining, he said, no. This book is for everybody. He said, can I have one more copy? He said, no, I need to buy 4. Before you know it, he was buying 4 or 5. And I'm telling you, this book is amazing. For those of you that have read any Olumide Emmanuel book before, you know that this is nothing but the work of God through a man. And all my books, all my products are things that by the time people read it, I'm going to be reading a testimony to you. I got my first testimony on this book today. And I'm like, people have started giving testimony. I'm going to read that to you in the course of our session today. So this is the book, How to Create Wealth as a Career Person. 500 pages. And it's an amazing book. I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be reading today from chapter 10, the Global Wealth Network. I'm going to read from there. So today we're going to be having a lot of amazing time together. I'm bringing in 2 of the contributors to join me. One of the uniqueness of this book is that I have 16 other contributors. So this is one book by 17 authors. So 16 other people contributed to the book, and I brought in some of them. Yesterday night, we had one of them, Tolu Oyeyipo, and then we have my mentee, Courage from Cameroon yesterday. Tonight, we're going to be having two of my mentees. We're going to be having Tolu Oyeyipo, and then we're going to be having Dr. Adebayo. Now, one of the amazing things, like I said, since the beginning, and if you've noticed that also, is that all the contributors are from different industries. So we've had people from different. So tonight, one of them is in the financial sector, works in the bank. So the other one is a medical doctor. So there are different people from different angles, and you'll be amazed, I'm telling you, at how, they all did not know each other. I sent out, I picked the people I wanted to be a part of the book, wrote to them, and then, of course, some of them were able to do, some of them weren't able to do because of some clauses they have signed in the organization. They have worked with conflict of interest, whatever. So they all submitted the stuff. I put it together in the book. But you know the amazing thing? By the time they all submitted and I read everything, it was as if they all sat down and discussed it, because you will see the same thread. You will see the same thread in all the different things they were, because I gave them a guideline on things to answer and all this, and I'm like, wow. So every time I say these things, principles are universal. Anywhere you are in the world, principles are universal, but the application of those principles are personal, contextual, and geographical. So you need to get a copy of the book, and you can go to the website now, www.olumideemmanuel.org, and download, pay and download your copy. And then you can also call the numbers on the screen, 009-144-7423, 002-305-9058. Let me see if our guys are on ground. Let's check them and bring them on board. Let me see. Okay. So I'm bringing Dr. Adebayo. I'm bringing Tolu Oyeyipo. I'm bringing two of them on board. It's going to be an amazing night. Yes,
hey.
So.
Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Hello, sir.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing? Tolu, we are not seeing your face, so.
Hold on, sir. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Yes,
all right,
we can see you, we can hear you. How are you guys doing? Compliment of the season,
Same to you, sir.
Compliment of the season.
Wow.
We
amazing.
Can't see you. I can't see you.
You can't see what?
I can't see you.
You can't see me? Dr. Adebayo, can you see me?
I can see you very clear.
So what's happening? You have to see me.
Let there be light.
So, Dr. Adebayo, have you got your own copies? Yes, so.
I'm devouring it too. Even I'm devouring it. I'm on this page. I'm on page, where am I now? 133 or so.
Wow.
Become a global player.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Tolu, when you return, you will get your own. Your own is also waiting for you.
Yes, I know. It has been received on my behalf, so I can't wait to get to see it.
Oh, wow. So, let me read out a testimony that came in today. This is the first testimony we got. So, it says, good morning from the city of Kaduna, sir. I just purchased. Hello?
Yeah.
He said, good morning from the city of Kaduna, sir. I just purchased your latest book, How to Create Wealth as a Career Person. I have not been able to put it down. I have read books by Sam Adeyemi, Sunday Adelaja, David Oyedepo on money. In fact, after getting the book, everywhere I go in the house, I just kept reading and noting the principles. It is the icing on the cake for my 2023. Thank you for obeying the Lord, sir. I am a clinical psychologist of 27 years and a serving priest in the Anglican Church And I believe this book is, I believe that as this book is changing my life, it will change my household and impact my world, particularly Anglicans who must also hear this message. So this came in from Kaduna today. I'm like, hey,
from Kaduna.
People are already buying. So anyone listening to us, this is the book, How to Create Wealth as a Career Person, The Entrepreneur's Guide to the Workplace, my latest work. And my two guests, well, they are not guests, people, those joining me today, they are both contributors to the book. And I'm going to be sharing with them and just having a chat together so that you can get to know more about the book. So you're welcome. Well, let's start with introduction. So we'll start with Doctor, you will introduce yourself. Tell us a brief about your journey, how you are, your biography a little bit. Then Tolu will now do the same. Just tell us about yourself and a brief about your career journey. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, sir. And I must say I'm very honored. I'm very humbled having to stay with you live. Okay. Today, the scripture is being fulfilled. Seest thou a man diligent in his business, he will stand before king. You are my king. I'm standing before you. And I'm so very honored. I'm really honored. In fact, I told my wife this morning, anyway, so let me just go quickly because of time to the briefs. Okay, I'll have to try and summarize it. Okay, so I usually tell people that I'm 3 in 1. Okay, so first off, I'm a practicing medical doctor. I'm a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist, both Nigerian and UK trained. I also have certification from the US in medicine and in leadership in health, usually around health. Okay, so that's as a practicing doctor. Okay, like I said, I'm a specialist. Also, I would say a businessman. Okay, I have my own hospitals. I have a special, and they're specialist hospitals. They're not just small hospitals. I have a specialist, Adebayo Specialist Hospital in Ogbomoso, Oyo State. Okay, it has over 50-something staff. I have Adebayo Specialist Hospital also here in Lagos. Okay, and if you permit me to gara a little, I tap into the finishing anointing that when Daddy preached some time ago, okay, not too long ago, that something can still happen. So I'm proud to announce to you, sir, that we just opened another hospital in Ikoyi some days ago, Dream Specialist Hospital.
Wow.
In Ribadu, Awolowo Road in Ikoyi, a full-fledged specialist hospital.
Wow.
The third part of me is that I'm also in the academia. Okay, I'm a university lecturer, a full-time lecturer at Laduke Akintola University of Technology. Okay, and I've been there for some years, for years now. So summarily, that is, I would say, is my summary, because I can't go into details to be too long.
Wow,
thank
amazing.
you very much for having me.
You're welcome. So Tolu, let's get to know you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I'll try and make it as brief as possible. Of course, I'll start with my name. My name is Tolu Oyeyipo. Currently, I head the agent banking business at Access Bank. The product name is Access Closer, which is a financial inclusion product. Today, we have a network of over 300,000 POS agents all around Nigeria in every local government area in the country. Beyond Nigeria, I'm also very key in driving the financial inclusion drive of the Access Bank network across all the over 15 subsidiaries we have across Africa. So basically what we're doing is that we're pushing financial inclusion in Africa, not just in Nigeria, making sure that we provide ease of access to financial services for the people who live in these communities, plus making it easy for them to access these services close to where they live and where they work. I have over 17 years banking experience, and it might interest you to know that I actually started my career in media. I did a little bit of media very early in my career, just after youth service, working in a radio station and getting to learn a few things there before eventually moving into banking to go through all the basic branch units, from tailoring to international money transfer to customer service, up to the point of becoming a branch manager, before I then moved into business and product development and product management. Then financial inclusion was relatively new in Nigeria. So I was part of the team that actually started the first money agent network in Nigeria, providing banking services to different communities in the country through the first money agent network. I was responsible for developing the business in northern Nigeria, 20 states across Nigeria, the 20 northern states in Nigeria, ensuring that these agents were evenly distributed and developing the business at that time. Before now, eventually moving on to Access Bank, where I was required to build their own, our own network now, of our own network of agents to provide financial services to people, not just customers of the bank, but also customers of other banks across the country. So it's been a very interesting journey. I'm glad to be here. And once again, I'd like to thank you once again for this honor and privilege of being a part of this project, because it's indeed a huge project. And I'm already excited at the impact it's going to
Yes.
for everyone who gets to read the book. Thank you, sir.
In fact, your session is a whole book out of all because some of them ask me how many pages. I say just write whatever, just as you are, just write. Your own is like a whole book. In fact, the editors come and say, sir, that this Mr. Tolu Oyeyipo, did you not give? I said, no, I didn't give anybody any number. He said, because the guy's own is almost. I said, no problem. Just put everything there. So, you're welcome. Now, how to create wealth as a career person? I want to start with, I think we've asked series of people this question. How did you get to know about money? Did your parents sit you down at a point in your life, say, oh, when you grow up, or when you make money, save, or do this, or do that, or because many of us, we never, grew up being taught about money. So for you as a person, how did you get to know about money? What was it? Your parents? When did you come to a place where you understood that this is important? So, Adebayo, we'll start with you.
Okay, can you hear me, sir? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, first off, is definitely not from my parents. I come from a very poor background, though that is history now. God used us to change our story.
Hey, network. Oh.
And strive hard. The saying says, if you come from a poor background, work hard so that your children don't come from a poor background. Okay, so I was from a very poor background. It was a struggle to go to school. It was a struggle. I was the first child. It was a struggle to pay fees. It was a struggle to do a lot of stuff. But I knew early for me was that. So the only thing I had was my education. So that's why a lot of times when people call me and I say, education is getting a scam. It depends on the kind of education that you are getting. Okay, you decide the kind of education and what your education is bringing for you. Of course, the emphasis these days, but I learned more from personal development, not from school. From school, what I just learned was my medicine. Okay, so but for me, very early, first of all, poverty was, we used to say poverty is a bastard. Poverty was, I didn't want poverty. Okay, I didn't want to be poor. So I was growing up, I knew that I wanted to be big. I wanted to have wealth. Okay, and I wanted to touch life because I've always believed that we are made to bless others. So before I can give out, I have to have some more than enough, to be able to reach out and give out to others. So I've always knew. So I knew that, okay, but my chosen field was a very, should I call boxed, a shuttle boxed field where you are taught to just take care of patients, take care of people and all that. And as I was growing, one of the major times, the minute I finished school and I started work, okay, of course, I was the first child. It was like the first person to start giving money to everybody. I remember 6 months into so I would say my mother too helped a little, but not like she helped positively, but I'll explain. When around 6 months, I was always sharing my salary. I was working in UCH Ibadan then. And then after 6 months, there was one day she asked me for some extra money. And I was like, Mom, I've been giving you money now. How much is going to remain? She now said, let me say it in Yoruba, like all the money you have been receiving for the past 6 months. Me in my mind that I've been feeling like I'm supposed to be like, guy, you did do well, you're doing well. You're taking care of us. That day, I went straight to the cooperative. That was the day. That kind of touched one part of my guy. So there's nothing you do that will be enough. You need to quickly put yourself together. Okay? I read books like from people like John Mason and An Enemy Called Average. I read those things about money and all of that. And he said, one of the things they said was, you know, the secret to your wealth is your income.
Yeah.
The secret to your wealth is your income. Of course, I don't want to fast forward so fast to when I met you, sir. Because I remember you shared something, you were saying something about if you're asking God for 100,000 naira, I am praying, Baba, 100,000. You made an analogy that the way God, it's not as if Ghana must go with drop in front of you. The way God will provide that 100,000 is that He will give you the wisdom to start keeping 10,000 every month. And when 10 months passes, you have 100,000. And it's God that did it, because somebody else. Another thing that was the motivation for me was I looked around me, from the professors to the specialists in my field. If they owe us 1 month's salary, there's problem. In fact, as I was finishing my specialty training, you know, that was when I started the first hospital. You know, it was during the era of, I don't know what I should call his name, but it was during the era of Ajimobi. He was owing us salaries. Everybody was suffering. That was the time I started. Everything I was making, I was saving. In fact, I told my wife, see, I could be paid. To friends look and say we don't have money. There's money, but we want us keep for bigger money. Sometimes I life at her now that she's driving Benz, she's living in big houses and all of that. And she never think I told you that time and all that. So for me, the motivation was first poverty. Second was my purpose. Okay, and from there I now realized that I'm actually in a field where we don't have businessmen like that. Most hospitals that have doctors, what they do is that they are the doctor there. They will stay there. They will stay there from the beginning of their life until the end. They never have time to. They usually die from stroke and all those kind of things. Like, okay, can I do it as a business? Then I met some mentors too. There's somebody called Abibola Mitoye. He's the one that owns Ibadan Central. There's one Dr. Bideyi. In fact, Dr. Bideyi has been in the US for the past 4 years, and he has 5 hospitals in Nigeria running. I said, okay, this thing is possible. So from there, because of my drive for my purpose, and because of the lives that I wanted to touch, and because I didn't want people to be like me. Some people may have been, I graduated as the best student, may have had the kind of maybe intelligence or that I had, but because they did not have the requirements. In fact, that was one of the things that encouraged me to start the foundation, that we could start helping people to climb up, as the case may be. So I think it was personal. There was personal development. Of course, in the past 4 years, so I've done a lot of things, but sorry for allowing me to say it, when I met you around 4 years ago, I was like, hey. I didn't want to miss any session from you, like, because you were just, I don't want to say in love, let's not assume one is an homosexual. The way it was eating me like, you can do more. Sometimes I will look at you, follow you, there's billionaire company, there's billionaire something, there's grip, there's real estate, and how you get, and you still give us someone, you still pray, you do the fall under the anointing. I started telling myself, like, you people that you think I'm not working, I think I'm lazy. I've met somebody that is telling me that I'm lazy. So it even gave me more stimulation to even do more. And in the past 4 years since I've met you, sir, sincerely, I can only give glory to God for
hallelujah.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is well. You need to come and join Billionaires Conclave.
Hey. My sister told me that I must join, you know.
Yes, so you need to come and join 2024.
I'm joining.
Sir Tolu, did your parents take you through money academy or what?
I wish they did. I honestly wish they did.
After this session.
It would have been a different story to tell today. So, you know, the challenge with the environment some of us grew up in is that some of these things were not taught. It was not a reality people actually faced. They just assumed that, look, like we've been saying, I've been seeing the other sessions from Tuesday, right? That mentality of go to school, get good grades, come out and work was a huge thing. And fine, I mean, this is not to discredit it, but the reality is that there are other soft things that needed to have been passed on to us that we just basically either they didn't know or they just didn't think it was important to pass on to most of us. I come from what you might call an average family. Yeah, my dad is a medical doctor. He's old now. He was he was 70s on Christmas Day, so he's eventually retired, right? So we were not a poor family, so to speak. But at the same time, over time, things didn't go too well and we got to a point that we were not as wealthy as we used to be. So it told me a story that, look, money does not always live with you. You have to be deliberate about it, and you have to be deliberate about how you handle and manage it and grow it. It also showed me the lesson that, look, to be successful for your life, you need to be also deliberate about your life. Every single thing you do, you have to be deliberate about it, and it has to be planned. You should not live your life on assumptions, and you should not live your life by chance. So that basically set the template for me as a young person, so that from school, all through school, and through graduation and service and the early part of my career, it was a decision I made that, look, I need to be successful, right? In anything that I do. So whether it's on my secular work or any other thing that I decide to lay my hands on, I need to be successful and deliberate about it. So growing up, yes, I had to have that mindset as a foundation. And I always say it starts with the beginning. So no matter where you are, whether you're at the beginning of your career or at the middle of your career, you have to take a decision at some point and be deliberate about the journey you're about to embark on. And that was exactly what I did, right? So coming from that family, moving into my early careers, I began to see that, look, it's good when you are able to finance the comfort that you desire. And that also means that you need to have a goal in mind, an end point. For you, what does the picture of success look like? This is where you are today. This is where you're going. What is that journey you need to make to achieve that end point, to achieve that success? So that was basically what it was for me. And to be honest with you, it took a whole lot of years of being deliberate and being very particular about what I wanted, right? So very early, I mean, especially when I think it's basically started from when I did my IT, the industrial attachment. Then I did it in the brewery, and I had so many bosses then. I know how the gist was then about people working breweries, having a lot of money and all that. But what I observed then was that despite all the money and assumed wealth that was in that environment, so many of them were still relatively dependent on so many things. So many of them were still living in rented apartments, were living in, were still having issues around finances. And in my mind, I was like, why are these people earning so much yet having this type of difficulty? So it told me that, look, it's not about how much you earn, but it's actually about what you're planning, how you're planning is, and how you align your life to ensure that and to ensure and guarantee that you have ease of life. So I mean, it was not surprising for me. By the time I now started working myself, my first goal was, look, I need to make sure that very early in life, the basic things in life I just said. So, getting married, looking forward to our first child, I was like, this first child, I'm not going to give birth to this. We're not going to have this child in a rented apartment. So before I was 35, we had already moved into our own house. Not because there was excess money, but because we put in place a plan to make sure that at any point in time, we are always ready for any eventuality that comes. One thing I'd like to advise people who are on this call, who are listening to us right now, or who might listen later is, look, there's always a place of planning, and there's always a place of taking advantage of the environment where you are. For me, coming into banking, I spent less than a year in broadcast, right? I came into banking very, very at the early part of my career. It opened up the opportunity for us to have access to loans. So today you see a lot of people say, loans, no, I don't want to take bank loan. And I'm really, it's really very funny to me. And I'm like, look, there's nothing wrong in taking a loan. Even the big people you see today, the multi-billionaires that you see who are running big mega factories, take advantage of bank facilities. They don't do it with their money, right? So basically what you're seeing is that people are using borrowed money to build businesses and to build facilities all over the place. Same also goes for those of us who are individuals. As an individual who has access to loans, you can take advantage of these facilities and actually build on areas that you cannot self-finance and then pay over a period of time. So very early in life, I discovered that as a young bachelor, even the first equipment I got in my house, there was an electronic store then, and I think even up till now, this is it for bankers, where you go, you buy equipment, and with 3 post-dated checks, you can take anything that you want. You know, so it started like that. From there, I was able to take loans to buy my first car, and by the time I started building, it was a lot easier. Then, anytime I have a loan availability, I just go for it, collect it, and I was putting in the project. It's not easy, and I'm not going to make it look very easy, because there will be times that you'll be basically flat broke. But because I had a goal in mind, I had an objective, and I needed to follow through with that objective. So it was really tough at some point, but we did push through, and we were able to complete that project eventually. So then, one thing that really made it critical for me to be deliberate about achieving the level of financial comfort that I desired was that I sometimes think, my wife tells me that, you know, that she thinks sometimes I could even give my eye out to people. I have a very huge passion for charity, right? And I just felt, look, I wish sometimes that I could help more people than I am already, right? So that meant for me that having wealth or being comfortable is not just about me, but it's about being able to impact the society, either those close to me or the environment where I live. So that became an even bigger and greater driving force for me to make sure that, look, on this move, I needed to succeed, right? So those were key driving points for me. Then moving on to all through my entire career, the ability to identify basic driving principles was very critical. First of all was the discipline that I needed to imbibe. A lot of people earn a lot of money, right? You see people who earn tons and they really don't have anything to show. So what is the position of waste in your life? How are you able to position yourself and control your spend patterns? Because Yoruba say, that money is a visitor. It just comes, it visits you, and depending on how you take care of it, that stays with you or leaves you, right? So that was a very key reminder for me that this path into success, this path into wealth, is one that you need to take very seriously and very deliberately. I know we'll have other things we'll talk about, so let me just make that very brief.
Wow.
How my journey to
so,
and we'll discuss.
If you are just joining us, how to create wealth as a career person, the Intrapreneur's Guide to the Wealthy Place, about 500 pages. This is my latest book. And if you want to get your copy, you can go to www.olumideemmanuel.org. There's a secure payment platform right there. You make your payment, and then you do the download. And then if you want to get a physical copy, you can call any of the numbers pinned down on the screen right now, 0809-144-7423 or 0802-305-9058. Now, on Wednesday the 3rd of January, we're going to be having the Global School of Money Summit. It's absolutely free from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you can make it, come from all over and let's spend time together. I'm going to be taking you on 3 sessions. It's going to be a practical workshop session. It's going to be a short masterclass, and then I'm going to have a question and answer session. So everyone is expected to take advantage of that, and then you can get the book when you come. And the book in Nigeria is 20,000 naira for the soft copy and 30,000 naira for the hard copy, which is going to come out later. And then if you are anywhere in Europe, it's 30 pounds. 30 pounds. And then you now pay extra 10 pounds for postage. And then if you're in the US, in Canada, it's $50. And then you pay another $10 again for postage. So the books are already in Canada. We're shipping to different parts of the world. Because of the holiday, most of the cargo people have been, they are backed up. So in the next 1 or 2 weeks, latest by the end of January, to be in all our offices. So we have offices in Ghana, in South Africa, in London, in Canada, in Australia, in Atlanta, Houston, and New York. So anywhere you are, you can do the download online, or you can call those numbers, place your order, make payment, and then we'll ship it to you. I just want to read Let me read from chapter 10, the Global Wealth Network. I strongly believe that we have heard the popular African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with others. And the words of author Porter Gale, your network is your net worth, over and over again. The two-factor statements mean that we must be intentional, consistent, and strategic about our networks and how we maximize them. Some of the missing links in the life of many people and their journey to success are mentorship and being part of a unique network and tribe. A lot of people read books from diverse authors, but when they get stuck in their life journey, they can't access the authors to ask questions or get clarity. And they don't have mentors that help them interpret things accurately. Having mentors, coaches, sponsors, guidance, etc. on your journey is non-negotiable for success. I've come to realize that the higher you go in life, the fewer the people that can mentor you and coach you. So you need to seek out your own tribe and your mentors for the different aspects of your life. The greatest part of leadership is mentoring, and it combines coaching, counseling, role modeling, etc. Mentoring is empowerment. A mentor empowers people under their mentorship. Mentoring is guidance. A mentor guides those under their mentorship. Mentoring is impartation. A mentor imparts those under their mentorship. Mentoring is transference of culture. A mentor transfers culture to those under their mentorship. Mentoring is networking. A mentor creates a networking opportunity for those they mentor. Nobody is a whole chain. Nobody is a whole team. Nobody is a whole orchestra. Below are few things to consider in choosing your mentors or the networks to join. Number one, integrity. What kind of value does the mentor or network live by? Number two, longevity. What kind of track record does the mentor or network have? Number three, productivity. What kind of result do they have as mentors and as a network? So let me stop there. So these are very, very important. If this book is loaded, if I read it, I'm like, oh God. So you need to get this book. So the meeting is next week, Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Rehoboth Multipurpose Hall in Indibu. So now let me ask you, you guys, you mentioned some of those things, but let's look into why do you think it's difficult for career people to create wealth? You see a lot of people earning good money, but 10, 15, 20 years, when they lose their job, 3 months later, they're like poor people. You're like, well, boy, you have been working for 15 years. Where is all the money? So let's start with you again, Adebayo. Why do you think that career people, using your own example from what you have seen, like you were talking about, Professor, why can't they create wealth? What's happening?
Like we have said, the thing is, most people, I don't know, I think first of all, I would say there's the seeming comfort zone thing, mentality. Receiving this amount, I can manage myself. I'll join cooperative. You know, I checked on cooperative, they were all professors. They couldn't even do a lot of things without cooperative, which is okay. I don't know. You know, there's that. Okay, then there's also the part of, you know, most people don't want to do things outside the box. This is what they met. This is what people are doing. It's not even in their thoughts. They can't even fathom the fact that one can do something extra. Okay? In fact, you know, one of my, and this has created some sort of uniqueness for me, because I realized I still got an award recently as the most intelligent consultant. And I'm still doing business. So it didn't, me doing all those other things did not take away the intelligence, if you want to call it, or being smart at work. So there's a part of comfort zone. You know, people don't want to do something extra. They just want to stick to what they're doing, manage themselves. There's also the pension mentality. When they feel like, okay, Mashagba, some certain amount of money, wherever I reach, I will take that pension, and then I will now, there's a way they prepare. And like you have always told us, retirement is supposed to be started from the day you start work. You're supposed to start preparing for your retirement from the day you start work. So then everybody looks around. I notice also that's why everybody looks around them and says, what are people doing? If they've noticed that somebody has not gone beyond the point, they're actually not. So there's the fear of risk. They don't want to take a risk. If I take this action, will it backfire? Will I actually make it? Will I do it or not? And if you don't risk anything, you're actually risking more, as case may be. Another is the financial intelligence. People don't even know basic principle, like you always teach us, of basic principles of savings, keeping money, keeping something aside. And it's not just the savings, like you always taught us, the savings too must be used, investment, business, use it to do something. People always feel like there's going to be a proper time to do something. There's a time. And sometimes they forget that the future they have been asking for is now. Today's the future we were talking about yesterday. Yeah. Okay, we are ready. I'm 41, I was 30, I was 32, now I'm ready. Before you know it, 50 will come. And everybody will now realize that time has gone. So people don't want to take risk. People are not, there's still some subtle laziness where you just get used to what you do. Of course, I wouldn't say a lot of things that have happened. We thank God for His grace, but I've also noticed that grace always, somebody said, they said that the workier I am, the luckier I am. The more you work, God blesses the work of your hands. So I wouldn't say it's not, like I've always told us to be responsible, to not be lazy, to be hardworking. So, but I've also noticed that because, for example, as you go on, as you educate yourself, because people don't develop themselves personally, they just stick to what they do and they stick to it, and that's how they die. Okay? They just stick to that angle where they are. If you don't do extra things to teach yourself about what you need to do, then you stay the way you are. So people just stick to what they are doing and they are not ready to do something extra. They are not ready to give extra energy. What I have noticed, sir, the way I started the first one, this looks like the fourth or fifth one now that I'm doing, is easier now, sir.
Yeah.
So it's looking as if there's less pressure. Now I can access money, I can get money, because growing through the challenges, all the challenges have helped me, first of all, build myself as a person. And now I can do a lot of things. I have assets too that can help me access a lot of things. Yeah. Okay? So, but when I started, sir, it was nothing. The first hospital was a 3-bedroom flat. Okay? Then we went to 2-bedroom flats. Before now we have built 2-story in Ogbomoso, we have built 1-story here, we have entered the Koi, which is what is now has happened from somebody that never had anything. That's why most of the time people tell me, the way I look now, they say, but he will back up. He's a back that knew where he was going. I knew you had to do. So now the hard work has paid off, because now the work is not so hard. They've also taught us principles. Recently, we did a leadership masterclass. She taught us about leaders. So we have learned the principles. Now we know supervision. We know delegation. We know teamwork. We know those little things. We know how to check and balance. So sometimes, people don't know that 2 days, 3 days, sometimes I'm at home just chilling. And I'm just with my wife. They feel I am. So people are ready to educate themselves. People also are not ready to take full responsibility for their lives. Most of us, sir, what they do now is, like you teach, look who to blame. A typical person now, a typical career person, sits down analyzing Tinubu, analyzing Makinde, but they don't analyze themselves. Yeah. To see what can I do within the angle of what I can have. That's what most people stick to. And that, I think, has been a problem for most people. They don't want to do something extra. But if you're not ready to do those extra things, you will remain within the box. You will remain average. You do the hard work first, and then you strategize, you educate yourself, and you have a goal. I like the test you gave us, the financial test you gave us, I think, from the first chapter, about knowing where you are. You analyze yourself. What do you want? How will I? Sometimes when I pray to God, I tell God, if you don't do this thing, shame of pay, you told me that I will be a philanthropist. You told me I'll send people to school. That means it's possible some people are not going to school because I don't have enough yet. Sometimes I don't know how we can blackmail God, but that's like a joke. If you understand what I'm trying to say. So that is the reason why they stick to that. They continue their life, and that's the way their life continues. And if you're not ready to take full responsibility for your life, you're not ready to educate yourself, you're not ready to liberate yourself, both financially and personal development, you definitely will stick and you'll be like, I look around, sir, and I'm not joking, sir. Okay, I was brought up humble, so I still remain humble. But I look around and I realize that there was a time, sir, that we were owed salaries for 3 months. I can't mention it, but if you know the amount of people that were my mentors and teachers that were borrowing from me. And we're supposed to be, and there was no difference between us in the beginning. It was the extra efforts that I did that brought me to where I am. And now they're not borrowing. That won't be part of what me anymore, because I don't even know how they want to pay back, as the case may be. So that is what some of the points I can give about why people want to stay, don't want to take steps.
Wow, Tolu, you bankers. Even me, I have story of bankers. Let me say something. There was a guy, a bank manager. He bought land from us in the corridor where we were selling land at, I think it was 200,000 then. So we did 200,000 per plot and then 1 million per acre. He bought 1 acre, 6 plots for 1 million. That was, I think, 2003 or thereabouts. Then around 2009, about 5-6 years later, he just called me one day. Pastor, our office, I think our office was still in the Akowajo side. That he now called me and said, how is everything? We're just talking. I said, that's our land. How is it now? I said, that the land is there. That it's now like, I think it has now become like 500,000 then. I said, the land is there, it's now for 500. He said, wow. He said, so that's my 6 plot now is like 3 million. I said, yes. He said, okay. That I want to sell, that I need to sell the land, I said, hey, I said, what's happening? Are you not building? He said, I want to pay rent. A bank manager. I didn't know when I said that you must be stupid. I've said it, I said that you must be stupid. I said, oh, this guy is not my church member. The guy came and said, it can't be. So I said, my brother, how will you sell land to pay rent? What is your problem? And you are a bank manager. What will you now be teaching people? So, Tolu, I know you have stories. So you bankers, God will help you. You are not even a banker, and you work in a bank.
and the answer to that prayer is amen. So it's my starting point for my contribution on this. Delayed gratification. So a lot of people have misplaced priority. I started my introduction telling you how, for me, this first thing was settling myself out of the place of being a rent payer to becoming a landlord and not needing to pay rent. As a young banker, then I had friends, colleagues whose top priorities then were, now we are, making money. The first thing is to buy the best clothes, to buy the best shoes, to do all the international travels that we can do. I mean, there's money now, so I mean, what is the essence of money if it is not to spend it? But for me, that was not a priority. Like Pastor just said, the reality that a lot of people live and thrive in a lot of money, and yet at some points in time have no money to do anything can be very unbelievable. So you begin to ask yourself, how is this possible for this person to be in this kind of situation? But that's just the reality. People who are living a life of that they expect other people. Sorry, they're living a life that they think is the expectation of other people of them. They're not living a life that they desire, that they believe should be the life they should live. Delayed gratification is a very huge thing a lot of people have missed out on, especially early days of career, and for some, even to this present time. I didn't have my first international travel until about maybe 10 years ago. And like I said, I've been working for 17 years. So for the first 7 years, all those international travel and all of that, it didn't even come to my mind, because for me, it was not a priority. It was not something that I felt was immediately important for me to go into, because I knew that there were basic things I needed to put in place as a young person, so that later I can then begin to enjoy all these things that everybody appeared to be craving for. Thank God, well, not thank God, but if not for the ban on Dubai now, a whole lot more people would have been, because you know how easy Dubai was then. All you needed was what? Just put in an application and boom, you're on the plane to Dubai. And people are there doing the pictures and shopping with money that they really don't have, to buy clothes that they really cannot afford. So that when they come here and their friends are like, oh, where's the people I bought it from Dubai? That was like the thing to say then, right? So maybe the UK is a little bit more accessible than people are going there, but you know how it is. So people have been a lot of people are unable to prioritize. I, for example, I don't do Ashwebi, not because I can't afford it, but because I feel I don't need it. When I was getting married, my mom wanted to do Ashwebi, and I told her, I'm not doing it. So it's not even today, from time. And I told her then that if you decide to do, she was like, because I'm the first son, the only boy. So she was like, no, why would her son have his wedding? And then she won't do Ashwebi, she won't do. I say, fine, it's your choice. But when you do the Ashwebi and people start to owe you money, don't come and meet me. And eventually, what happened? Because people started owing her, and she was saying, this person has not paid. So I said, why are you telling me about it? Didn't I tell you not to do it? You know, so not because I don't want to associate with the person, right? But because I feel, look, why am I buying this? I'm going to wait on that day, and after that day, I'm done. So why am I putting it and storing it in a closet, right? So I've been able to define so many things, and also the ability to be able to stand your ground is something that a lot of people have not been able to. It ties back to the need to feel they need to impress people. Honestly, if you're on this call, you need to know that you don't need to impress anyone. The only person you need to impress is yourself. That is the only person you need to impress. Start with a dream and stay focused on that dream that you have. It allows you to put in place a roadmap for your success. And that is exactly what I did. One very major thing that I think people miss out on again is building relationships. A lot of people take a lot of things for granted. And when I say building relationships, it might be from the poorest person you know to the richest person you know. Treat everybody the same way, right? You never know where someone will be tomorrow. And a very classic example is my own life. So most of the lessons I learned, and on this call, a lot of the things I'll be telling all of us are things that I have personally experienced. If I tell you that something, it favors my parents did for certain people in 1984, I benefited from it, from that same person in the year 2002, almost 20 years after. It's a long story. It's not a story I can tell us on this call. But I learned a life lesson of being nice to people, no matter what level of life that they are. So some people are at their lowest right now, and you never know where they can be tomorrow. Build good relationships, treat people well, no matter what level of life they are, and be good to them. Networking is what Asi just spoke about a minute ago, and I'd like to dwell a little bit on networking, because for me it has been a very, very critical part of my journey as an individual and as a professional also. People take so many things for granted when it comes to networking. I tell people who are close to me that who are the people you keep around you. If as you are now, you cannot have a need of 1 million naira, for example, and say, look, I can call A, B, C, D, and E to borrow me 1 million naira, then you're in the wrong cycle. So everyone needs to find that level in their life where they are now, looking at where you are and say, look, if where I am now, this is my first working year, this is my career, my first year career, I don't have anybody that I can need 100,000 and say, look, quickly borrow me, and they will lend it to you, no questions asked. You're in the wrong circle. Who are the friends that you're keeping? If after 10 years in your career, you cannot look around you and say, look, I need 5 million naira right now, and I don't have anyone that you can call and say, look, can I have 5 million there for the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? You're in the wrong circle. Who are you mixing with? Who are you meeting on a day by day? A lot of people tell you, oh, I'm tired, I'm busy, I go to work all the day from Monday to Friday. Saturdays are for sleeping and rest. What kind of sleep are you sleeping? When you should be out there meeting people who can actually change your life. And a lot of people say the challenge they have is, okay, so they're meeting people for the first time. What are they going to be discussing? The question is, how are you building yourself to a point where you're knowledgeable to be able to have a one-off discussion with a first-time meet? You're meeting somebody for the very first time. How do you initiate a discussion? How do you engage this person? How do you make sure that when this person leaves you, they always remember someone that they want to meet again? So there, that comes a piece of personal development that, look, it's not about just being that person, but it's about being a person with content. It's about being a person that has something to say and something to say when it matters and when it matters the most, right? So networking is a very critical area. As a career person, you cannot miss out on it. For those of us who are in the banking industry, depending on where you are, branch banking is a huge opportunity for you. Different types of customers come, from the richest to the poorest. You see a lot of people coming in with t-shirts and shop knickers, and they have billions in their accounts. It's those of us who work in the banks and know this people. It tells you that, look, it's not by it's not by size. Sometimes it's not even by appearance. So you do not judge people based on how you see them or how you want to perceive them, but it's about the content that they're able to provide for you. And as a career person, I always say, look, be selfish. It's about you. You're meeting people. How can this person you just met make your life better? What are their life experiences that you like to know about? You've seen their successes. What can you copy? What can you not copy? What can you copy and then build on to become a better person and, if possible, better than they are?
Wow.
Right? So that's one very critical point that a lot of people miss. And to round up, I think it won't be justified if I don't go into the area of spirituality. At this point, it's good to also mention again that for me also, Pastor Olumide has been not just a mentor, but also a spiritual father. I've been under his ministry for well over 13 years now. And to be honest, the turning point came when I joined the ministry in Calvary Bible Church. Before then, I hear what tithing is, but I really, tithing, okay, they say pay tithe. I'm not sure I ever paid tithe before I came to Calvary. So it was just something you hear and you get to hear. But the teachings over the years began to change the mindset, especially when you begin to see the physical manifestations of the things that are said. So a lot of people try to shy away from it, but you really cannot avoid it. Because to start with pricing, for example, look, if you don't pay to God, you pay to something else or somebody else, right? It's going to happen one way or another. So you're going to pay it anyway. So the question then is, who would you rather pay it to? Do you want to pay it willingly or you want to pay it by force? It's a choice you have to make as a career person or as a business person. So they say, the typical analogy I like to give is somebody gives you 10 items and he says, give me one back, and you're doing like this. Does it make any sense? So I'm saying if God has given you something and he's saying, pay me 1/10, it's now so difficult for you to do. That's the starting point of the problem. And I always like to say that, look, if God cannot trust you with a little, he cannot trust you with plenty. So if in the small little that you think you're having now, that you're finding it hard and difficult to pay that tithe of maybe a salary of 100,000 and you find it difficult to pay 10,000, there's no way God's going to move you from that 100,000 salary to ₦1 million, because he knows you who is finding it hard to pay 10,000 can never pay 100,000 as tithe. So you're never going to get there. Look around you, the rich people that you find around you, whether or not they believe in God, they do some form of giving in a way. You think they're crazy? You think they don't know what they're doing? No. It's a basic principle that they understand, right? And it's another area that you need to understand that, look, going into partnership with God with your finances is the best financial decision you can ever make. I've tried it, I've tested it, and it works every time. Wow. I can't go into the details now, but that is just, if you ask me what the secret is, the secret of being in a wealthy place as a career person is going into partnership with God. You are in a church or a gathering where you see that there's a need for something financial. Use your resources to support it. See, it's between you and God. Tell him that, God, this thing needs to be done. Provide the money and let me do it. That is a very, very key area that I think as career people that we can look at and try it over time. Just give it a shot. I mean, it's a gamble. Try it. And finally, I'll just say, look, move with people who are smarter than you. In my contribution in the book, it was part of the thing that I mentioned, and it's a book I think everybody on this call should actually buy. Move with people who are smarter than you, and you will see the difference. If you are in a community where everybody's hailing you as the smartest guy, as the local champion, as the person, you're in the wrong place. You won't go beyond that, right? And finally, I'll say finally again, there's no progress in the comfort zone. Where you think you're okay and you're comfortable now is not where you should be. At any point in your life, you need to do a self-appraisal that tells you, look, where I am now is not good enough for me. You may appear comfortable there, but that is actually the time that you need to move on to a place where you become uncomfortable. You know, I mentioned in the book where, as a bank manager, my house to my office was 6 minutes away. But there was an opportunity for growth that meant that I will now have to drive 3 hours to the office and 3 hours back. It was a very difficult decision, but it's a decision that I'm very glad today that I took.
Wow.
And that for me has been it.
Wow. You brought in the spiritual dimension. In the introduction part, I wrote, please ignore the optional section, chapter 13 of this book, if covenant or spiritual matters are not your thing. However, brace yourself and fasten your destiny belt as we proceed on this transformational journey. So the optional chapter, because I know that some people who read the book that are Muslims, some would say they don't believe in all these God things. So I say, okay, it's optional. Chapter 13 is called End of Discussion. And in chapter 13, it says, in life, everybody has a spiritual anchor. Those who ignore this truth become spectators and casualties in the marketplace. Let me use this chapter to remind you once again, to be the best version of yourself and maximize your possibilities in life, you will need to operate either in the secret cult or in the secret place. There are only two options and pathways to the worldly place on earth: covenant or kingdom way, or Babylon and worldly way. In life, everybody has a spiritual anchor. There are forces at work in the marketplace, and if you are not well positioned or rightly aligned, you may end up a victim. There are things that people do in secret that makes them to shine in the open. And because many are still operating the lower level of life, they have not encountered the powers that be and the gatekeepers who can use market forces to fight your rising and keep you down if you don't join them. Unfortunately, a lot of believers are so naive because they play church and practice religion instead of becoming kingdom ambassadors that operate in kingdom culture. Well, let me stop. It's just this book. So if you don't have a copy, we'll be talking about how to create wealth as a career person, the Intrapreneur's Guide to the Worldly Place. You can go to my website, www.olumideemmanuel.org, to get your copy. There's a secure payment platform there. You can download, get it from anywhere in the world, do the download and start reading. And you can call the numbers on the screen, 0809 144 7423, 0809 144 7423, or 0802 305 9058, 0802 305 9058. It's 20,000 naira for the soft copy, 30,000 naira for the hard copy. If you're in the UK, it's £30 and £10 for postage and packaging. If you're in the US, it's $50 and then $10 for postage and packaging. And then on Wednesday, wherever you are, if you can make it to join us, Wednesday the 3rd, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Railboat Multipurpose Hall in the Dimo, Lagos, we're going to be hosting the Global School of Money Summit, where we'll be having the official launch of this book, and then I'll be able to sign an autograph. You need to make it absolutely free. Come with your family, come with your friends, and come and learn. And it will be an opportunity you will remember for a very long time. I'm going to be saving this video on IGTV, and then we'll upload it on my YouTube channel at Dr. Olumide Emmanuel on YouTube, so that you can watch it over and over again. We started since Tuesday. Tomorrow we have the final session by 10 a.m. If you're in South Africa, it's $50 also. So Mosibe is $50. Anywhere outside Nigeria, it's $50, except in the UK where it's £30. So, so we're going to be putting it. So tomorrow night we have the final session. So I'm going to be having Benga Totoi and Ifi or Sita joining me. They are also contributors in the book, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing time. So let's hear your final word because of time. So I start with you again, Adebayo. So what's your final word for people? And then why you have started reading, should they go and buy or not?
So my final words, 3 things. Take full responsibility for your life. If you fail, it is you. If you win, it is you. Secondly, learn the habit of writing down your goals and planning how to get there. Thirdly, commit your life to a life of personal development. And part of it is getting a book like this. I would recommend this book from some author that we trust, a author that we know, a father that has lived a life. He doesn't preach what he has done. He will tell you what he has done and what he has worked. And another thing about him is he will even tell you some things that may have been mistakes and how he has learned. I know sometimes he brings people to this platform to even learn some people that have done something the wrong way. I followed those kind of thoughts. And so for all that are coming up or, working towards this is we reading his mind, learning from him. I would recommend this book. Okay, I'm one of the contributors and I'm even reading and I'm happy and I'm able to read this book. Please get the book and please continue to live the life that you dream of. Okay, thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Daddy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Tolu, your final word.
All right. 4 things from me. The first is start early and have a plan. They say whenever you wake up is when your morning is. So you may feel that you had wasted years. It doesn't matter, right? You can start today. You can start now. You can start with that dream and have a plan towards achieving that dream. Second thing for me is gain knowledge and network, right? The impact of people on your life, you can never be able to take away. I can tell you for free, right? But then what's the point of meeting people when you don't have anything to say to them? So that means that you need to go equipped, you need to go prepared, informed, so that you can have meaningful and engaging discussions and be able to, 1, identify opportunities, take the opportunities when you see them, and also use the opportunities to your own benefit. That's very critical for you. Third thing for me is partner with God. You need to partner with God, and I assure you, it's a business venture that you can never ever lose from. Final thing for me, buy the book. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, guys. So everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tomorrow night will be the final night for this series. So we're going to be meeting again 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Everyone, go get the book. And then if you can make it on Wednesday, next week Wednesday, it's going to be live on Facebook and also on my YouTube channel. So, but if you are physically available, we're expecting thousands of people to join us next week Wednesday. We're ready for you. Let's start the year empowered so that we can go forth and possess our possession. God bless you all. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless you. So everyone, those 2 phone numbers, very, very important. This is the book, How to Create Wealth as a Career Person, the Entrepreneur's Guide to the World Place, about 500 pages. Get your copy. And as you do that, you'll be glad you did. I'm going to save this video now so that you can go back and watch it. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.